I'm your host, Jason Tartick, and welcome to Trading Secrets. We talk all things money on this podcast, and we're teaching all the stuff we just weren't taught in the classroom. Nothing supports this show more than liking, commenting, and of course, subscribing. Welcome back to another episode of Trading Secrets. Today we are joined by fashion and lifestyle content creator and reality TV personality from Netflix, My Unorthodox Life, Batsheva Haart. Batsheva rose to fame after starring alongside her family in the hit Netflix series, where they spoke in depth about their former Orthodox life and how they're living their best lives in New York City. Having grown up with a parent in the fashion industry and eventually gone to FIT, Batsheva has worked her way into the corporate world of fashion, including various designs and product internships. Her experience in those roles, along with learning hands-on from her mother, has helped shape her career as a content creator today, having partnered with multiple fashion and beauty brands such as Alo, Yoga, Target, and Neutrogena. We are going to discuss all things related to fashion and lifestyle, her time on reality TV, and how she's been able to balance between religion and the modern world. Well, Batsheva, thank you so much for joining us on Trading Secrets.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Now, this is a topic that I find just so fascinating, and we've never talked about on Trading Secrets. We really don't step into religion at all. So talk to me a little bit about when you were a child growing up in an Orthodox family. What were some of the maybe traditions or day-to-day things that even as a child you're like, I don't know if I want to do this, or I actually really like this. Like, tell me about the experience as a child growing up in a family like that.
I think that I was in such a small little bubble. I didn't really question anything because I didn't see anything to question. It was just, this is the way it is. This is how you're brought up. You're not really subjected to any other ways of religion or lifestyles because it's such an insular community that I only got exposed to other ways of life once my mom left the community. I was like, oh, okay, there's other ways to be Jewish. There's other ways to celebrate religion. And it gave me the opportunity to look outside. But until that point, I was pretty much all in because I didn't have any opportunity to question it.
Interesting, because you see there's so many different shows and stuff on all different religions and communities like that. There's a big theme there of the importance of being able to live, experience, see, and do things outside of maybe the confined structure that's put in place. And I think like almost everyone can relate to that in some capacity. What was it for your mom that made her step away from it?
She always says it was my sister because my sister did question things. I'm more of a go with the flow. I don't like to ruffle feathers. My sister was like, why am I doing this? This doesn't make sense. And she questioned it a lot. And I think that made my mom question. Yeah. And then she decided to look outside. And what she found was that she didn't agree with religion at all. Yeah,
that's so interesting. You said that you with your experiences, it was hard for you to kind of see what other things were like. What do you think it was about your sister that allowed her to question it with limited experience?
Well, she's bisexual, so okay. I'm sure that had to do with in the religious world, being gay or dating, the same sex is very no-no. So I'm sure that inspired her to question, like, why is this wrong? Yeah. Or why does religion say it's wrong? I think that definitely influenced it. And I think her and my mom are very similar. They're wired the same way. They just have this, like, tenacity to, like, question things. And I admire that about them.
I love that. Yeah, my brother is gay and married, and I always thought that was so just in the idea that, suppose there is a God, right? Suppose that this, which, most of the world, who knows? Most of the world believes that is the case. Wouldn't he want people to live in a state of happiness? It seems a little contradictory.
Absolutely.
A lot of some of the structural things or the traditional things seem quite dated. So I think challenging and creates conflict, and conflict creates growth. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think what I learned the most about religion is that a lot of people find comfort in it. I'm not religious at all anymore, but I've realized that there are a lot of people who like for someone to say, this is how you should live your life. This is how you should treat people. They like the rules and regulations, and I like just having a good moral compass and no rules.
Right. I think that makes perfect sense. What were some things, like as someone who just isn't familiar in totality with Orthodox lifestyle, there are certain things with technology, right? And lighting and use of the internet and things you can see and say. What were some of those things that our listeners like might not know about but would find fascinating?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I celebrated Shabbat, which is from sundown Friday to sundown Saturday, and you use no electronics, no light switches. I mean, a lot of times like your lights are on timers or your oven is like left on so you could heat things up, but you don't turn on the oven, you don't turn on your TV, you don't get in your car. So you're really like stuck inside with your friends and family, which is there's benefits to that. I celebrate Shabbat now in the sense where I don't work on Friday night, Saturday. I don't post on social media. So it feels like a day of rest, but I go out.
Once sundown hits Friday, that's when you'll
I
take
won't
off.
Post on social media.
Okay, until when?
Until sundown Saturday.
Until sundown
For me,
Saturday.
That's how I celebrate it still. But growing up, there was just like, you were just at home with your friends and family, eating food, drinking, which is nice.
Yeah.
But I felt very left out of the world. And I don't know. I never really related to it. It didn't feel like a day of rest to me when I couldn't turn on the TV.
Got it. So you'll still socialize. You just won't post on social then.
Yeah, I'll go out.
It's Friday in Basel. You'll go out tonight.
Oh, no, I'm going out. But I'm saying for me, it feels like a different day. It still feels like a day of rest because I'm not working, which I think is beautiful.
And having this phone tied to us is definitely a sense of work. So doing that. I did it. I don't know if I ever shared it on the podcast. I went to Israel for my MBA, and then we did a whole trip out there, went to different VCs and stuff. But we did a Shabbat dinner. It was lovely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my mom's Jewish. So in Israel, technically, I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
And
but you're Jewish everywhere.
I'm Jewish everywhere. It's everywhere, right?
Yeah. It's by the mom. It's
by the mom. Yeah, because my brother did birthright. But we did a Shabbat dinner, and I thought the idea of it is brilliant, right? You bring your friends and family together, you celebrate life, and you unwind, and you just totally, no phones, right? You can't have phones at dinner. They use candle lighting, no actual lighting. And I was like, this is
They didn't have lights on?
They didn't have lights on. They just had candle lighting.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That I haven't seen.
Gotcha. Interesting. What about dating in the world of Orthodox? Like, what were some of the rules as a kid like you had to follow, or things that were maybe different from the norm?
Well, you don't date until you're dating for marriage. So
really?
I went to an all-girls high school. I, scandalously had my first kiss like out of high school when I was 17, but that was like a big no-no. You weren't allowed to do that.
Wow. So if you kiss someone in high school, that would be like...
You'd probably be like kicked out of school.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't go on dates. You don't talk to boys. I didn't like have conversations with the opposite sex besides my family friends until I was dating for marriage, so to speak.
Yeah.
But then I met my ex-husband like through family friends, and that we hid our relationship for a while because we weren't supposed to be dating because he was the same age as me. And I got married at 19, but that's still really young for a guy, even in the religious world.
But so if you guys met from friends and then you were also dating with the intention to marriage, why'd you have to hide it?
Well, we weren't dating he was really young. We met when we were like 17, 18. So he wasn't really supposed to be dating for marriage yet. And
wait, hold on.
Yeah.
At what point is a male in the Orthodox community supposed to date for marriage?
I would say like 21. We're not pushing the boundaries in terms of like, it's not older, but it's a little bit older out of high school. So you're dating with a purpose of marriage only. Like you save yourself for marriage. I save myself for marriage.
Okay.
And that was kind of the reason you get married so young, because they're like, God forbid you should have sex out of marriage.
Yeah.
So that's why they push women and men to get married really young, because that's the fear.
Interesting. Okay. We're going to tie this to business too, because I've heard and read that you said that your divorce caused a little bit of stress and anxiety around finances. That's love equals money. Before we do that though, now where you are today, how has that shaped? Like, what's your view on relationships today versus what it was then?
Oh, well, very different.
Yeah, I would imagine. That's why I asked.
You guys talk about sex on this podcast a little bit.
We talk about it all.
Art Basel was I called it losing my post-marriage virginity.
Okay.
I was recently single out of my divorce, and my mom was like, this is ridiculous. You're so sad. you need to get laid.
Your mom's
My mom's great.
What a full circle moment.
So I was going to Art Basel, and she was like, this is a great opportunity for you.
Yeah.
You're going to meet a lot of people. Just have fun. Don't think about it too much. Like, rip off the Band-Aid. I wasn't religious. I wasn't like saving myself or anything, but I was just like nervous about it. And I came to Basel with a mission.
Mission accomplished?
Mission got accomplished.
Wow.
And all I can say is that I remember this guy left and he was like, you must do this a lot. And I was like, if you only knew, you were the second person I've ever been with my entire life.
You didn't tell him, did you?
No. I did a podcast episode about it,
Yeah.
and he found out that way.
Oh, my gosh. That is absolutely hilarious. So you've taken a 180 as far as just your
Complete
stance on it.
180.
Live your life,
think-
do your life.
Live your life. I think women, if you want to express yourself, there should be no judgment. Men in society can do whatever they want in terms of if they want to hook up or not. And I think that I wanted to take like that power back for myself. In the moment, I was really emotionally unavailable for anything. So sex just felt like a thing. It didn't have any value. Now, 3 years later, I'm way more into meaningful experiences.
Totally get it. That is fascinating. This topic, I'm like, I keep wanting to jump to business, but it's so stimulating to me. What is the reason then? You've seen both sides of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen the community that tells you at 19, you should get married, you shouldn't date, you shouldn't kiss. Do you think that's the law of the land for the Bible, or do you think it's more for security and safety of just the mental aspect of parents within this religion? Like, why are they putting that type of focus on these 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds? What do you think it is?
It's all sex-based. It's literally so you shouldn't have sex out of marriage. So they want you to be in a relationship, like, a law-abiding relationship within the Bible so that it's sacred.
Okay, so it's all around sacred. It's all around following the specifics of what the Bible says based on the interpretation of that religion.
Yeah, and women's jobs in religion is to have babies. So for the most part, so you're supposed to get young and like fulfill your life goal of being a mother and having children, and you can't do that out of marriage. So you got to get on that train immediately.
It would be interesting to get your take or your family's take to do an interpretation of the Bible based on what you guys think it should be done versus what your community did think it should be done.
I think I would say besides my dad and my brother, they are so religious. The rest of us aren't religious at all. So we're very proud of our Jewish identity. Like, I would love to have Shabbat dinner with my family one day, purely more of like a family tradition, not religious based. So I don't think I really believe in a Bible.
Yeah, gotcha.
I respect it. Just it's not for me.
And it comes to your sister and also my brother and just life. I look at religion like whatever religion you are, practice it, preach it, live it, enjoy it, be your best self. Try not to judge others.
Exactly.
And I'm here to love and be good to all different religions and all different places and people. So glad we got that figured out. Well, I'm glad we had that conversation because it also connects to your divorce that you went through. And your divorce, you did say that it caused stress around anxiety, around personal finances. Second book I wrote is called Talk Money to Me, all about this intersection of love and money. And we're seeing day by day right now, money becoming the forefront of issues in relationships during and after. So I just want to get your take on why was it such a struggle for you?
I think, the biggest life lesson my mom taught me was to have, as a woman, my own financial independence. So I think I was different than a lot of people growing up, like specifically in the religious world, that I had a job, I was making money. So when I did want to exit my relationship, that didn't hold me back. Whereas a lot of women in my position maybe would have been like, I want to get out of this, but how am I going to live? So I'm so thankful to my mom that she was like, make your own money. So you will always have freedom to do whatever you want. But I still never paid a bill. I didn't know what a credit card statement looked like. I never got the mail, booked a flight. I didn't take care of any of those things. So when I got out of my relationship, thankfully my ex had set me up with a financial advisor and helped me put my credit cards on auto pay, and
That's
gave
nice.
me, it was really nice. We had a great,
Sounds like it was an amicable split.
very amicable
Why'd
split.
you guys break up?
Religion, for the most part.
Oh, wow. So as you were pushing away,
He was,
Wow.
we very much gradually moved along together into a modern Orthodox lifestyle. But then when we talked about raising a family, he wanted to raise them more religious, and I didn't want religion at all. I think I was doing a lot of it out of respect for him because we got married when I was in a different place in life. So I held on as long as I could, and because he was my best friend, and I think he was my soulmate for that period of my life. And I'll always respect him, but I didn't want him to live his life the way I wanted to live, and I didn't want to live the way he wanted to live long term.
If he was willing to take a different stance on how to raise the kids, you think you guys would still be together?
I don't know. I don't like to think like that.
Yeah, that's a good perspective.
Like I think everything happened for a reason. I'm so thankful for my relationship because I had a beautiful marriage, and I'm happy he was my person I transitioned with, but I've never looked back at that decision.
And it sounds like through the divorce, I can't tell you, I've heard of one divorce where the other partner's like doing everything in their power to help like educate and still put them in a good position. Like that's beautiful.
We had a really like as good of a split as you can have. I think we had, because we never got to that point of disliking each other. We exited the relationship with a lot of love.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get married at 19,
yes,
right? And then you get divorced. It was 2021, was it?
Yeah, it was 28.
28, okay.
Yeah.
So then within that time period from 21 to 28, of course, there's a lot going on in your life. But professionally, where are you earning majority of your income at this point?
So I started off as being a nanny on the side when I was going to FIT. I started going to college at 24 because it wasn't ever anything that I was going to do until my mom left. And I was like, wait, there's stuff out here. I want to get an education.
Were you not going to go to college because of religion?
Yeah.
Did your religion say that?
People will go to college, but they'll go to be like a nurse or a teacher or a bookkeeper, and none of those things were interesting to me.
Okay.
I went to cosmetology school. I went to culinary school, so I was always very creative, but college for the arts was a complete secular world, so I was never going to do that because I was in my little insular bubble of the community. And then once my mom left, I was like, wait, I can explore, I can go to school, I can get an education. And even though I was a little older than everyone in my class, I was so happy to go.
That's cool. So 24 is when you started school. That's pretty cool. You finish and you go to FIT. What did the career track look like from then? Because you probably finished right around the divorce, right?
Yeah. So I started doing social media around like 25, 26 while I was still in school.
Yeah.
So I had gotten my associates in accessories design, and then I was off for the summer. Blogging was really big. So in 2017, I was like, let me try this out. And I ended up loving it. So I switched my major from design to direct and interactive marketing.
Cool.
And I started doing social media part-time. I told my ex at the time that it would take me 5 years to make enough money to like be sustainable. And it took me like 2 to 3 years. Yeah.
What did you define as sustainable?
I think like a full paycheck where I always said like that I could like add avocado on my salad.
That was your thing?
You know, like the $2 extra that they're like, we'll charge you. Like I didn't want to think about the $2 extra.
Okay. It's my job here as a podcast guest to guess what that means. I'm going to say that means around 70 grand.
I don't even know at the time.
I was scared because I'm thinking 2017. Yeah. Okay. But you make enough to add avocados to the salad. So that's a good place to be. You then go full time. How has the social media career treated you since going full time? And were you full time when you were married, or was it all after the divorce?
Yeah, it was full time when I was married. It's really amazing. I think what's beautiful about social media is I, growing up, struggled because I want to be a mom, but I also want a career and I want that independence. And I found that this space, I have so much flexibility. I have the ability to work from anywhere. If I ever want to bring my family into it, I can. I used to do a lot of couples content, and now I do a lot more of like single girl content.
Okay.
But I think what's amazing about social media is it gives you the ability to connect with so many people, and there's no ceiling on how much you can make.
True.
Which is amazing.
Have you seen it grow every year?
Absolutely.
Really?
It's been so rewarding to be able to connect with people and make that my job.
That's great. And I mean, to see how it's gone from couples content to single content to now doing your own thing.
Yeah.
You were part-time married, now you're full-time in social media. When I think about the differences in your life from your teens to where you are today, and then even the divorce, one thing we talk about often on this show, I'm just curious how it tied to your life, is like prenups. What is the take on prenups in the Orthodox Jewish religion? I would assume that it's a very anti-prenup.
I think now people are talking about it. I got married, I don't know, 2012, so a long time ago.
Yeah.
But now I think people talk about it a lot more because divorce is something that happens more often, unfortunately. Whereas before, but when you're 19 and you're getting married to a 19-year-old, you don't really have an income. So it's more on the families.
Yeah.
If there's like family money involved, that people will do that.
Gotcha.
But when you're that young, it's like, I don't have anything. I don't even know what I'm going to have. How can I, what am I prenupping?
What am I
on?
prenupping? Yeah. It's
But
like
now I
all
will get
future
one.
earnings. Okay. Got it. Netflix, My Unorthodox Life.
Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised, excited? What'd you think about the edit?
I thought it was great.
On point?
I think it was on point. My friends watched it and were like, you're exactly yourself on camera and off camera. So I took that as a compliment, even for the things that people didn't agree with. I was being authentically myself.
Okay. Reality TV or any type of docuseries in your future?
I would love to be a host of something. That's why I started my podcast.
Gotcha. And what would you like to be a host of?
I don't know exactly. Some sort of dating show, maybe. Love. I mean, I love fashion as well, but I like the ability to connect and give my insight.
Okay, so possibly hosting.
Yeah.
Would you go on as a castmate into a dating or challenge show?
No.
You would not. That's a hard no.
Hard pass.
Why the hard pass?
I just don't think that that's the way that I want to enter love, personally.
Okay.
I like a little bit more organic, and I think that I liked my family show because it was with my family.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I'd be able to do it with multiple people and like people I don't know. Wouldn't
Okay.
feel comfortable to me.
Okay, that's fair.
But I respect it.
All right, you respect it. You're not judging. Thank
Not
you.
judging
Appreciate
at
it.
all. Love that for you.
Thank you. Oh, what a run. Heart to Heart. That's your podcast,
yes.
right? How's the podcast going? And from the business side, has it been, would you say, like more successful than blogging versus social media? Harder? Like, what's your overall take as podcasting connects to the other forms of your social media businesses?
I think the podcast I use as a place to give more like long form content. I felt when I went through my divorce that there was nothing out there for me. There's no information about it. People weren't really talking about it, especially as a 28-year-old going through a divorce.
Yeah.
You know, that was mostly like older women talking about their experience. So I wanted my podcast to be a place where I could talk about that, help women, even if they weren't going through a divorce, a long-term relationship. A lot of people have their like college boyfriends, and then they have this whole identity with them, and then they break off and they're like, who am I?
Yeah.
So I wanted that. I would say it's not as regular. I more use it when I have something to say.
Yeah.
But
that
I
makes
love
sense.
like the opportunity to be able to talk for 30 minutes and not feel like I have to fit everything into a minute.
The
video.
long form stuff
Yeah.
makes sense. With your 1 minute videos, what you're doing well, your social media is growing, you focus on fashion, you're focusing on single content. Give us something, give us like a trading secret as it connects to either fashion or just the single life and the things that you've seen.
I guess I'll go on more single life. I think
Okay.
self-talk is really important, and I think a lot of women are like, men suck and dating sucks and I'm never going to find someone. I get questions all the time like, are you nervous about finding your next person? And I think if you tell yourself that life is amazing, that men are wonderful, that you're going to find that person, and you tell yourself that enough, you're going to believe it, and you will.
Wow. So when you self-talk, do you have like a system for it? Do you do it like once a day? Do you write it down? Do you just once?
I think I like intercept my thoughts. I think
Okay.
that's like what I've learned to do is like if I'm having a negative thought or something that I don't want to associate with, like I am in control of my own brain. So I'll be like, no, I don't believe that. I don't know if I'm saying it out loud or if it's to myself, but I'm very like that with all of my friends whenever they're going through like a shitty time. I'm like, don't say that. Men are great. This person maybe sucks.
Okay. I
But
like that.
I think just having a positive mindset about really anything in life, that's going to take you to be successful because You're the one who's living it. So if you say it's great, it's going to be great.
Okay, I like that. Self-talk, intercept the bad thoughts, and then let's do one more. Someone who's newly single.
Yes.
You go on a date. What are things like definitely don't do, definitely do?
Ooh, okay.
Trading Secrets, Dating Edition.
Dating edition. I love this. When it comes to ghosting, if you've never met someone, then it's not considered ghosting if you don't respond to them. But if you have met them, don't ghost them. Send them a nice message saying you're not interested. And that's it, because you wouldn't want someone to ghost you, so don't ghost them. I believe in karma. And I think every time that I've sent a text like, it was so nice meeting you, I just feel like we're looking for different things. That's way nicer to the guy than just not responding to his message.
Yeah, okay.
And girl.
So don't ghost. I got
don't
that.
ghost.
Set the expectation, don't ghost.
And if you're a guy, I think if you've been on 3+ dates, if you don't want to see the girl anymore, you should let her know.
Okay, that's a good one.
This is for the men.
All right, for the men, 3+ dates. You don't want to see her anymore. Let her know. Don't ghost. All right, let's. We got to wrap with a trading secret, though. So it's a trading secret specific to your journey, which has been a fascinating journey. It's wild to see how religion, love, money, and even professional pursuits have totally influenced your journey, and look where you've come and look where you were and the lessons you've learned. I think you need to write a book. Just saying, I would read it.
It's on there.
Okay, it should be.
List.
Hosting and a book is what's next for you. And when you do those, you're gonna have to come back on. But what is one trading secret you can leave our listeners with, aside from all the dating tips you just gave?
I think that practicing gratitude every day at 10 p.m. I have an alarm that goes off and it says 3 gratitudes, and I say or write down 3 specific things from that day that I'm thankful for. I listened to this in a TED Talk about finding happiness, and he said if every day you write down 3 things you're thankful for that are specific to the day, your brain is going to be trained to constantly be looking for that thing to be grateful for at the end of the day.
Wow.
So I do that, and that's made me such a positive person, because you realize that even if you're having a shitty day or something's going on, you're like, wait, but I'm thankful for all these other things that are going on in my life.
I like that. Yeah, a lot of self-work within your journey. I'm sure that's been a big part of your process, right?
Lots of self-work, growth, mindset. I'm a completely different version of myself than I was 3 years ago, and I'm very proud of that.
I was going to say, and as like, that's a beautiful thing, right? I think the idea of being the same individual you were a year ago or 2 years ago, to me, is terrifying, right? Life experiences, new journeys, developing your brain and your mental health, your physical health, all the things that should lead to growth. That should lead to change, and hopefully positive for everything that's coming. Great episode of Trading Secrets. Batsheva, where can everyone find everything you have going on? Your podcast, social media, all the things.
Yeah, everything on social is at Batsheva Haart, 2 A's, Haart, and my podcast is Heart to Heart. You can find it anywhere you can listen to podcasts.
All right, go check out the podcast, download it, and thank you so much for being on Trading Secrets.
Thank you for having me.